to all of you. Thank you for making the time. This is just an extra effort at making up our last session that should be held in week 10, but which I would have to be away together with a team of other uh, contingent from Ghana to represent us at the conference. But the substantive content of the course has already been done, like we've reiterated in class. We've even had quite a number of mop-ups because we also got a free additional day since we didn't use our IA time for class. I mean, we didn't use class time to do the IA. We still bought an extra time. And so we are good. We are not behind schedule at all. But I would want to still meet you close up to the 10th week. This is the closest I can get you before later today or so we would move. I want to first of all mop up with you. Can I have any questions that still bother someone? I want to deal with it quickly. If there is any question bothering any one of you, we can still mop up. So you raise your hand and I'll check that quickly for you. If there is any question, please raise your hand and let me deal with it just in case the question is still bothering you. Don't see any hand yet. Okay, so I presume that you are fine. And that's a good sign. Don't worry, just in case a question comes up in your revision, you should just let us know. You can go to tutorial, your TAs will be on standby. You could check the recorded links that I've shared with you. You could send an email, preferably, so that I can see it and hopefully deal with it for you. Now, you shouldn't pile up stuff in the hope that you will do it later. There won't be a later. So I just want to advise and mentor, not just to tutor or teach you, lecture you, and examine you, but I also want to guide, because I think we have some wealth of experience that you will need. Don't pile up anything, especially in the courses you are doing. Don't pile them up that, oh, during the revision, I'll do this, or during that, I'll do that. No. At this stage, you should have a fair grasp of every content in the various courses you've done. Okay. And so that is it. Now for the exam. What is the arrangement for exam? Let me see if someone knows that. That's all I want to cement. I want to firm it up and then we are off. What's the mode of exam? Essays or MCQs? The final exam, that is. Okay, so I can hear Elom now. Elom, go ahead.
Madam, please, it's 5 essays and then you choose 2.
Very
One
good.
goes for
So that's what
25 marks.
25 marks exactly. And hopefully we are going to work within, I think, 1.5 to 2 hours. I would normally propose 1.5 hours so people don't waste too much time. But just in case someone is a slow writer and maybe wants to think more before they make their point, they might use the first 30 minutes or so making points, finding illustrations that they will use, having the whole building in their minds first before they start actually hitting the ground running. So sometimes some use about 30 minutes just making points. And then they also need so much time to revise, read over what they've done. Maybe 15 minutes, they are still reading over. So if you just took even those 45 minutes out, then people can still substantively spend 20 to 30 minutes each on a question. And that should be fine. If you know what you are writing, you don't have to be all over the place. You can be concise, elegant, straight to the point, and still capture the salient points and argue, like I've said over and over again, present alternative views and respond. So, what topics are you going to have questions on? All of them. I always tell students that all of them. The questions may be 5, but what the demand of the question is may may cover more than one specific question. See that? So you end up doing everything we've done. We've done what is philosophy, even Jechi alone. If I wanted to ask a question on Jechi alone, on what is philosophy, I can ask so much. Your lecture can have asked so much just on the name or the personality called Jechi. If I wanted to focus on the discipline called philosophy alone, I could ask 1,001 questions from there. Okay, yes, what is philosophy, the value of it, the branches, the approach, why philosophical questions are not necessarily abstract, or why it's not an atheist. I mean, there's things that has been said against philosophy, for example, and how you can respond to them. It's not an atheist thing. Just that part. Question one is I can ask 3-4 essays from there if I wanted to. Then topic two, the substantive topic two is on Plato. Plato alone can can give us about 4 or 5 questions if I wanted to. So the point I'm making is we could overlap what is philosophy with what is Plato and Ortega all put together. See that into one question. Not a heavy demand, but if you haven't engaged those other topics, then you won't be able to see what the drift or what the question demands are to be able to answer it well. That is why, in simple terms, engage everything we've done. You see, engage them. So you know Ortega as well as Plato, and as well as what is philosophy, why study philosophy, the value of philosophy, the approaches, and so on. Then for ethics, know the main, but we did some business ethics. We did some medical ethics. We did some medical ethics. So we saw consequences versus rule. We saw subjectivism, emotivism, absolutism, all the isms that we studied under ethics, how we distinguish the ethical from that topic. On ethics alone, we can have all our questions on ethics. Just the ethics of Ortega, for example, or the ethics of Plato, or the ethics of identity, cultural identity, that is, you see. So it's very broad, and that is why you must have a firm grip of it so that no matter the twist and turns the examiner puts to it, you can still answer and answer well and illustrate and show that you know the content and you know the basic arguments in that field or that discussion, and you can render it in simple terms to someone who may not be philosophically trained and show why there is an interest, because a philosophical interest, that is because you are dealing with the foundational assumptions, the presuppositions that the people hold, and the beliefs that ground socioeconomic systems. You know, you have to be able to show that what's the relevance of, say, philosophical enterprise to religion or to society or to the law system. Picking from any of our discussions from epistemology, metaphysics to ethics and culture and society, picking from any of that, show the practical relevance of philosophy. You see a kind of question like this. You are actually dealing with what is philosophy, the value of philosophy, but you are applying it onto either epistemology, Descartes that we've studied, or to cultural identity, social and political philosophy, Miles that we've studied, or to Plato. So if you know Plato's world of forms and how it is distinct from his world of appearance, then what is its use for everyday life? Or when you know the ethical theories and the perspectives to addressing the question of right and wrong, and how the ethical is not necessarily the cultural, or why how ethical relativism may not necessarily be cultural relativism, and so on. If you know those ones, or you know Ortega's, you know, Ortega's man has no nature, and how it is that for him, man is a being that is at once extra natural and anti-natural. You know, if you know all that, what is the practical relevance? You see the question. So that question can be seemingly topic one, and yet it is also topic three, and yet it may also be dealing with the approaches of doing philosophy, and yet it is also questioning the foundations of knowledge and what have you. Stuff like that is what I'm saying. If you are well versed in all the topics, no matter the twist and turns, you should do fine. Okay. So that is something I wanted to prompt about. And so that you can answer your very rich two questions. Those who joined the Thursday session yesterday, I think I've shared that also. I shared that before I pulled the last week's cultural identity discussion and also shared it. I don't want students of any class or any group, having excuses. I want you to, so that the recordings are there, you can play them all and then use them as your revision tools alongside your text, the references I'm giving you, and then the slides, and feel confident that you are able to answer the questions. But you would see that I talked about argumentative writing. I told about going straight to the point to tell us what you want to do in your introduction, and then your conclusion telling us what you have already done. You see, that's the way you write philosophy. You don't beat about the bush. You don't become unnecessarily verbose, plenty language. Big words, and elongated. Elongated means it's so long, you take winding statements. You start from line 1, you're on the 4th line still, you haven't finished. No, that is not philosophy. When you do that, it's difficult to track what exactly you are saying, because every word is calling for clarity already if you're doing philosophy. Oh, we all know that. You say we all know that, then the philosopher's immediate inclination is you, and who are you referencing now? You see that? So already such a simple, often unquestioned assumption would be questioned by the thinker. That's why you want to be very elegant and careful. Don't say, so this would be the best doctrine. No, you can't talk about the best. You can say the more defensible view, the view that I would consider more defensible would be this one, because it's always a because. You have to put a reason to why you hold on to any view. And I'm showing you this for philosophy. You apply it in your other disciplines and see. You yourself will testify. When you write, it's clear, it's straight to the point. People can get the thrust of the matter. You're not all over the place. Okay. So you show us what you want to do in your paper. This question demands so and so and so and so. And so in this paper, I will show this and that. Maybe I'll argue for this or that, depending on the question you ask. Or I will critically examine. Suppose you were asked to critically examine. I'll critically examine, Miles's view that culture, identity cannot be defended if we reference the essential sense of it. But we can have a strong defense of cultural identity if we talk about it in the accidental sense of it. I am going to engage this subject matter, review it, and show that I agree to this view to a large extent, even though I may have so and so and so reservations about it. Ultimately, I seek to say that so and so and so and so, full stop. So when I take your introduction, I can tell what you're going to do in the paper. Now, my work as an examiner will be to check if you actually did it, or you did like manifesto. I'll give you 3 SHS, 1 district, 1 down, 1 this, 1 that. You are in your political season at the university. So people have a lot of manifestos, a lot of fine things they will do. What you are showing me in your introduction is your manifesto. So that I will be intrigued to go and look at your subject matter. And so the body, paragraph by paragraph, is the actual reign. I've given you the rule now by voting for you. Now you are on the seat. So in paragraph 1, you do what you said you would do and put flesh to it and give examples to address it and connect it. So you are showing that you know the subject matter. You can relate with it in a way that makes you able to impart it to the other person by showing. So the deontologist argues so and so and so, whilst the consequentialist will take a so and so and so and so posture. I think that if we think of consequentialism, especially say the ethical relative, the ethical egoist, the egoist view. So when I'm reading you, I can see that the person knows consequentialism, because he even knows the 3 types. He can even give examples to show his knowledge. You say if we took, for instance, the utilitarian view of males, which says we should look out for the quality of the greatest good, of the greatest number. The challenge we could face is so and so and so. Now there comes your critical ability. You're looking for what may go wrong, and yet look out also for what may go right for such a view, even as you defend the other one. When you finish, you are supposed to show this other one that I hold on to may have its own challenge. The challenge I identify with such a view would be X, Y, or Z. Show it. However, when you finish, deal with it. So your paragraphs have to be organized. You see that? That's why we do the koima, we do the content, then we see how you organized the content. It's very important. And then we see how you express yourself. So koima, content, organization, expression, how you are expressing what you are saying. I didn't did it, it didn't went, they has gone and those things. They mar your beautiful. It's like you have a fine wedding gown on and there are stains all over. See, it makes it difficult for us to enjoy the beauty of the gown. So you want to work on that. Your subject verb agreement. Don't do I did they has or it didn't did it and those things. So you can work on them. And that comes with practice. If you are doing a lot of writing, I've had to extend the assignment on cultural identity. It's a critical whatever that I give because I've seen more than 100 people having submitted, and it is not good for them. So I have extended it a bit more till Monday. Today is Friday. You have 3 days. If you don't do it, my conscience is so clear. You need that mark. It will show as late submission, which will attract some mark out, no problem. But it is better than none. Do it just in case you haven't done it. Okay. Those who have done it, over 800 of you, plus almost 830 or so I saw have done it. And that is a good thing. That is what a student does. You listen to simple instruction. You know why? Because it is helping you, polish up how you write. The more you write, the better you become. The more you read, the better you become at reading and writing. You see that? It is a skill. If you are reading philosophical texts, like I'm instructing and guiding you to do, you write philosophical, you don't even know that that's what you become. You see, it's a process. So it's part of the training. And that's why I was hoping that everyone could do that, not just go and copy and paste and present. That one scores you a straight zero because you are missing the training. You don't want to go through the process. You just want to jump from one end to the other and finish. And then when you move on, it shows. Okay. So just to tell you that write that way. Write that way. I touch on everything. Yeah. So illustrations help you. Examples. When you use examples, it brings it makes the thing come alive and you can testify. Even when I teach a discipline like philosophy, I do a lot of examples. I'm sure you know, and you can test plenty. One concept I'm putting across, you see that I will move from religion to culture to faith to politics. Sometimes everyday funny things, I'll put them in because they help make the abstract concepts concrete, accessible. That's how you write as well. So if you are doing all these, you see that you will not be wasting space and time on trivialities. Your content, the subject matter, is focused and rich. It's not just quantity, plenty, without any content. It is concise. So 2.5 pages, maybe sometimes, depending on the demand of the question. I don't like restricting unless they are single type questions. I'll say in a single statement. But when they are essays, I want to allow people because our styles are different. But by the time you finish, you should have dealt with the main things the question asked. If the question is asking for 3 parts, suppose I said distinguish. Normally, I won't ask such questions though. Okay. As opposed to we were saying review. No, that's so easy. Evaluate or analyze or examine. You can look at the words examine, examination. It's not joking. You are going to bring out the various perspectives to the matter. That is first presented. Then examine critically means show its strengths, show its weaknesses, and mark it. Oftentimes, when you do critical examination, it will ultimately end with a viewpoint of the writer. You see that? So examination, critically examine. Do it in a critical way. It means look for both strengths and weaknesses. Analyze means break the thing down, show what it means, its implication, analysis. So you do an analysis and you can't leave it hanging. You would eventually have to show what the analysis leads you to. Okay. And then when we also say evaluate, judge it, value, place value. So you see that those terms are not asking you to just give an account. Account for the account for Plato's theory. No. We don't have that in philosophy. Give an account. Say. That's tell a story, narrate, describe. No. Even explain is a low level kind of question. If you are looking at Bloom's taxonomy, there is a certain system that checks the levels of difficulty of questions. You are doing philosophy and you are in the tertiary setting. So you see that the questions will normally say critically examine, analyze. Where we even ask you to discuss, it will have to be a very broad subject matter, which means the discussion of it is itself a skill. But it will often be around analyze, critically examine, critically review, explore, and so on and so forth. And so you will have to be minded to do that. Introduction tells us what we want to do. Conclusion tells us what you've done. Body picks one after the other what you said. That's what I shared on the mentors platform. I do that every time we are nearing exam for philosophy, and it is so for every level, even PhD level. Or when I say I am a doctor and I'm writing an article that I want published, these skills are key. The people reading your thing, reviewing it to accept for publication, we look out for that. If it's not there, they can't accept your thing for publication. We have to be able to follow what you, especially in a philosophical discourse. Okay, so no background, like I said in class, all the 2 classes I've told you in City Campus, I've told you don't be interested in giving background knowledge. That year, so and so happened. That is why I don't know what is that. Answer the question and engage it. Okay, so I think that these are the key things. And then the 5 questions, you choose any 2. Initially, I wanted 1 compulsory question and then the other one, but I feel that that might be too demanding of you. So we'll give you 5 options. You choose one. Don't go and punch 5 questions. You don't know how the questions will be. I'm done. I don't know if I left out anything that is crucial for you. Thank you, Elon. Appreciate that. Then a question that or something that I may have missed so that everyone will hear and then you can be yes. Aaron, did you want to say something? I think your microphone went open a little and it's closed. Did you want to say something? If he
Dr. Ansimaus.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Yeah, please can you go over the introduction of how to approach your essay, the introduction of how to approach the essay?
Yes.
Please,
it's the same thing I've said over and over again. Okay, it's fine. Listen, I'm saying that if you have any essay, especially a philosophical one, but this is true of all essays in academia. But just in case some other discipline will say we'll give some background on this, no problem. Let's talk philosophy. Philosophy says, don't waste time giving background. Introduce the paper, the thesis of that writer, what you want to say. Okay. So I often like to use an example of an essay question to do that. So suppose I said, would you be an empiricist or a rationalist? Justify your answer. This can be part of your exam question. Would you be rationalist or empiricist? Justify your answer. Now, immediately you know that you are going to have to make a defense for one of the views. Or sometimes it leaves it open. You may say, I don't want to be wholly rationalist or wholly empiricist because of the challenges I see with both. So I would be rationalist when it comes to, say, matters of the spiritual, matters of God, life after death, morality. But when it comes to science, medicine, what have you, I would told the empiricist line. Some may have that posture. It's fine. It's not philosophy. It's how you do it. Because you have to answer the question you've been asked. So suppose we asked you that question. How would you answer that? one way, a viable way. Your introduction answer. This is exam. You see, it's not a write-up for a presentation in class. You're going to give class presentation. It's different. The lecturer or the examiner will look out for some background knowledge that you have, some illustrations that you can even project and show, some clarity in the terms you want to use in that presentation, and then you set up. That's fine for a presentation. This is exam. You're answering a specific question you've been asked, and someone will mark it. You see, so the person picks your paper. How you start it matter. They have to see what the core is that you are going to do in the paper. You are written 3 pages, for example, 2.5, 2 pages. You want me to read the whole thing? To look for what? That's what your introduction is. So your introduction should tell me what you want to do with that paper. Clearly, and I emphasize, don't go run about. People like writing plenty things. It's not the writing plenty that is a problem. Because sometimes people write plenty, there's a lot of good stuff. That's an additional, that's a plus. But most times, people are writing plenty because they don't know exactly what they want to write. If they are saying everything, so that by all means you will find something in what they are saying. That is what is problematic for philosophy. So you can say for our exam, a paper that I have just suggested. The question demands. See how I started? It's almost like it's too direct. Yeah, philosophers don't beat about the bush. That's why I joked about it in both classes when I met you. One in person, one online. I told you the philosopher's posture, if he were calling a lady, would be like this. Hello, are you Ajua? She says yes. Oh, you are very beautiful, and I love you. Do you love me too? Can we spend our life together? Finished. If Ajua says yes, thank God. If Ajua says no, move on. Maybe friends together, or I part ways. We are gone. Finished. Not this. Do you have a dog at home? When was your mother born? Did your mother give birth to a human being or a goat? I mean, what is this? Go straight. Someone will take the lady from you. So philosophers have that posture. They are direct. Look at all the text we did. Elsia Emanuela. Did the boy do that with you? You have to go straight to the point in an elegant way. That's all we are saying. So in this paper, I am going to make a defense. Suppose you want to defend rationalism. Okay. You may want to defend empiricism. That's another beautiful thing. It's your argumentation that matters. And how you are able to deal with the counter responses that may come from the one who disagrees with you. You just don't take a line and say, me, this is what I want, and that's all. No reasons. You don't have a response for those who don't agree with you. Then why is your view the more preferred view? You see that? So you have to show that. So suppose you want to defend rationalism. We could say that in this paper, I attempt to defend the rationalist view of knowledge over and above the empiricist view. Full stop. Don't say, and I would this, that. No, full stop. I know you're one thought. Let the person assimilate it because he's marking. Full stop. I will argue from 3 premises, for example, if that is what you would do. First, the certainty that can arrive from rationalism. That's what I'm saying. I'm the one talking now because I can do that. Maybe you can. So what makes you take a rationalist position is what you write. I'll argue that it's only rationalism that can give us what? Certainty. 2, that we are not able to establish certainty with the empirical. 3, that so and so. You see, so you're listing them. My first paragraph will do what I said first. The second paragraph will do what I said next. The third paragraph will entertain possible counter responses from the empiricists and a response to that. My conclusion then, in other words, by the time I finish everything, I would have defended the rationalist view, even though I would admit some challenges with it. Full stop. This is introduction. That is if you want to write that way. Someone will say, in this paper, I seek to defend the empiricist view over the rationalist view of knowledge. That is not the place you say, you see, empiricism is a view that says, no, that's in the body. You're still introducing the thing. So you want to defend empiricism over rationalism. Yati. How would you do that paragraph by paragraph? It is the how. Your stage is like the when you're building a house, guy, friends, the sheet. Which is that now in the present? The plan. Ah, so you do the plan for us all to see. You haven't bought cement or sand. You don't even have a land, but you can have the whole building on paper outline. This is where the kitchen will be. This is where the washroom will be. This place will be for laundry. We'll have a little porch here. This here. That's what you are doing in your introduction, so that everyone can see. Now, when you finish, you take them one, like you said you do. So paragraph 1, that's what you say you do. So let's say the rationalist view. So you said you make a case for the rationalist view and you defend it so and so and so ways. Now in the body, you are now going to do that background thing. Rationalists defend the view that the true source of knowledge that can be certain, or the true source of knowledge, let's use just that, is reason and not the senses. By reason, they do not mean the brain, which is still physical and therefore part of the senses. They imply something non-physical. So rationalists like Plato. This is where I'm looking to know whether you know the content. You see, rationalists like Plato, Descartes, Socrates, Leibniz, Spinoza would, in various ways, argue to defend this. On the other hand, we can have authors like so and so and so, then list them, who disagree and think the true source of knowledge is empirical. The reason why I'm inclined to support rational, I say I'm inclined. If you don't know that, bro, you don't have to say I'm inclined. The reason why I think I should. Like that. Nobody will beat you up. It's your style. You see. So the reason why I will support, I would say the reason why I'll give a defense. That's because I'm a doctor, senior lecturer. You are first degree, level 100, back OJ. So we can write the same way. And that's okay. The young too shall grow. But you have to know what you are saying and say it your own way and in simplicity. Okay, so I defend the view of rationalists because that is where if you don't have a because, you are stuck. You must have a reason why. So the class discussions and the several illustrations I gave you, like Major Muhammad's unfortunate death, his soul rest in peace, and all that, were meant to give you raw material. You see the sister who has gone to see the supposed husband and the secretary in a certain mood, and then I told you, so you are going to hate the sister or pour acid on her. What if she was rather saving your dying big stomach husband who fell into the pool? Just saw her on her doesn't mean you have seen a prostitute or some issues. All those examples were meant to give you concreteness. The doctor said sickle cell patients will not live beyond a certain number of years. That's empirical truth. It has failed. Does it mean everything empirical is not true? Not necessarily, but does it give us certainty? Perhaps not. This is what you are doing in that body. The other way around is, how do we drink water? If all we are saying is the real things are not physical, so do we drink the reality of water, which is abstract, the idea of water? When I'm testing, you say the idea of water. It is the strength for the empiricist. I need to drink water, appearance or not. Give me water. So there is a place for the empirical. There is a place for the what? Non-empirical. And that is why this is not just a philosophical question. It's now even a philosophical problem. We'll engage it again, level 200, the problems of philosophy. Not just questions we've asked for answers, but every answer given has a strength and perhaps some weaknesses. So they don't go away. Free willism, determinism. Is man free or man is determined? They don't go away. So you are going to argue to show why, even though it's problematic, you can give instances. If we are the law court and we're trying to establish who killed someone, how would we ever be able to depend on something independently of experience? We need some level of experiential verification, some CCTV camera, video, some voice notes, some fingerprints and stuff like that. That's the strength. It's a strength. You can't say the Lord is showing me that it is this guy who killed the woman, and I can receive that without the help of the empirical. Why should we trust what you are saying? Remember, how do we justify the claims of knowledge? That's the central problem. How do I justify that I see the Lord raining water? Don't worry, it will rain shortly. What if we are lying? Because I don't have access to what you are saying. And you don't have access. What we can share is the observation-based one. That's why some are a bit more science inclined, empirical. Let it be something we can all see. I do care. Jimmy Wong. The monkey says, "My eye na my God." I foresee him, hear him, touch him, taste him. If not, day experience is the best. You see what I'm doing now? I just switched to show the strength in the empirical. That's what your body is doing. Then you take your stance. If you want to take a stance, and most times you should, but admit the difficulties that your stand could have and attempt to respond it. If you do that, you are saying some for your opponent. That's a sign that even when you have even given allowance, when you are going to run, you say the opponent is weak, so you go for it. Don't worry. Even when you've done that, you still are able to defend your view better than that, and that is why it makes sense for you to take that. So paragraph 1 may take, an elaboration of the two views. Paragraph 2 may consider why one is better than the other, that is better than the other one. Of course, all these times using illustrations. Paragraph 3 may now raise possible counter to the view that you have taken and respond to it again. All this skill is what's called argumentative. It's normative, it's not prescribing, it's not describing, it's prescribing. Then your conclusion, you will come to tell us what you have done by referencing what you said you would do. So this paper has engaged rationalism and empiricism as epistemological views of philosophy. It has, in paragraph 1, discussed the strengths of both perspectives. In paragraph 2, it has answered. So you're telling us what you did in the order in which we did it. I seek to conclude that perhaps this is what I want to say. You may say otherwise, someone else may say otherwise. I want to say that perhaps we might not be able to give a full defense of one or the other without its own problems, but given this difficulty, nonetheless, I would choose rationalism over empiricism for the stated reasons. Full stop. You can get, if you write things like that, you can get 25 over 25, especially if you don't do, I didn't want. You can get a perfect score, even in an essay. Because what we are looking for are skills. And for introductory level, our hands are very liberal. They are not overly French trying to look for some absoluteness. If the person exhibits those skills, we reward it and reward it plenty. So I hope that helps. If it does, then I'll take Wilhelmina now. Thank you, Manuela. Let me take Wilhelmina. Your hand is up, and then we are done.
Yeah, Madam.
My name is Dr. Miles.
Sorry, Doctor.
Don't worry, it's fine. Go ahead.
It's about the assignment. You said, like, after the assignment, you have to send it to Turnitin for a plagiarism report.
Come again. Are you asking a question about the assessment done already?
No, I'm talking about the assignment, the second one, the one you extended.
Yes. You said it has done what?
About the Turnitin report. It says you have to send it to Turnitin for a plagiarism report.
So you want me to activate it?
Yeah. I was wondering, it was not there, so I was thinking, is it like if it was a mistake or you can just send it like that?
My lady. Oh, really? I like that question. I didn't activate you, or you're sending it to turn it in. I have it here. I've already caught people who have plagiarized. I can show you. Even for that assignment. Yes, I have it. Let me see if I can project it. Just a minute without exposing someone. I want to see. Over 800 of you have submitted, 829 now for main campus. I know some of you online now are city campuses, but I'm referencing main campus. I had my plagiarism checker on when I'm receiving. So if the thing passes through my net and comes, it will zip out and I'll know at least as strong as our plagiarism checker is, and what we have is a very big one, a 1018 one. So I'm opening to see if I can show you. This dawn, when I opened it, I saw 72%. I didn't check the rest. So it is active. But maybe I didn't instruct you to put it in. If you did the work, how you are, the first person's own is 72% plagiarized. That's not good. I've seen a 57% one. Should I show you? If I could block the names. I think I blocked the name. No,
Yes.
don't worry.
Yes.
Sometimes when you say these things, student thinks you're making it up or you are just trying to. So I like to show. Hold on for a minute. I think I've blocked I've shifted it in a way that the names of the persons won't show. Don't want to worry people too much this morning. Though I'm not obliged to block it. If you didn't copy, we wouldn't have shown you. Okay, so see up here, just so you know that is 102. See, this is 102. That's highlighted. Then I'll shift it back because the names are to the left. And then the question is the critical summary on cultural identity. Yeah, the mouse paper 10%. So now I can shift it to the left a little bit more. Can you see my screen, please? Good. Now see, you see, this is someone's submission. If I shift my thing towards the right a bit, the left side will show and the name will show. You see this? This is a 72% copied work.
I can't see.
Who can anyone see, please?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
My brother, I'm asking if someone can see. So I'm looking for those who can see. If someone can see, I can see. So if you can, please. Yeah, so anyone who cannot see, page it with your turn a bit more. It is visible. Okay. I'm showing you how we do it. You see this? This is 72% copied work. The one in blue says is 0% copied work. Not that because we see 0 here, no, then we mark, oh no. Sometimes you go inside and the person has written, the boy is a girl. Full stop. And so that's why we show as blue, looking all fine. Blue is the best. Green is okay. Means it's copied, but it might just be the topic or some name that has been repeated. You can overlook it. Sometimes it's red. Sometimes red. Red means 75% plus copied, all the way to 99%. Now, huh? So me, when I see this, I have time. You see this one? I'm happy you don't see the name. See, the person's name ends with
Madam,
Marty.
please, I can't see your screen. I can't.
Dear. What should I do? I'm projecting from the same gadget. Some can see. Who else can? How many people can see? I hear only your voice, who say. So it will be something with your end, not here. That's what I'm trying to tell you. My dear friend, I don't know what I'm supposed to do about that one. Do you have a good network? Your data is fine? Let me stop sharing and reshare and see. Otherwise, I stop. I just wanted to use that to help Madam.
Oh.
You see. No, I've stopped sharing. I want to reshare. Okay, just look. When you hear that someone got a certain grade or something, you should trust the person's, at least for your lecturer here speaking to you, you should trust that there must be something wrong. It's not always that we have to do this. Look at the submission, 92% copied. It means only 8% is for the person. You see the thing? Now let's go and check, just to be sure. Some will do open quotation and close quotation, like I told you in class, from start to finish. How? That's why your thing has delayed. I finished grading, but I'm mopping up. I'm on M now. I wrote the name. No, I'm on 2. That's where I've reached. So very soon I'll be done. Then I'll release it to you. So some of you will see the notice come to you, and then before long, if you didn't mess up, then your mark remains. Before long, you see that it might change downwards. Might, I said, because I'm mopping up. When I finish, I'll send a notice and then show it in your grade. But now, if you look at your email, see that you get it released to you. The thing is, you can open someone who had, say, 4% like the one there. Very fine. When you go and look at the submission itself, the person opened the quotation mark and started writing. And when you finished, you put quotation mark at the end. A full page quoted. So the system will not read the quotation. That's why if the lecturer is not reading the actual submission, she won't see. If she's just using plagiarism like that, she won't see. Me, I see you. I catch them. Some to only one paragraph, 3 lines. That's why it's blue and nice like that. Its content is not there. So it might fetch you 4 or 3 or 2 or 5. But the generality of the class, as soon as you make an attempt to show critical, the difference between, this work was on cultural identity. So the earlier one, just a little effort, you get 8 or 9, because that's what I'm rewarding. Your reading skills that you're developing, your conscientiousness, your skill of paragraphing and picking up. That's what I'm rewarding, not so much the philosophy of it. If you copy the anime, so look at this one. If I click the red flag, it will show whose work it is. You will see the names and you see who and who the person has copied. If you say fin, I'll do it. If you say no, the other I'll stop. So I'm listening to fin or no. No. People are going to write this exam. But if you want to see, this is what you do. See, don't worry. See, if you click on the red flag, because some argue, so you just want to teach them this. Then if you click on the red flag, it will take you to the document from where the person has copied. Sometimes there are 3 documents, all highlighted. Some to KwaZulu, University of KwaZulu Natal, Ohio State. Some paragraph is from there. Some online encyclopedia of this. We cut and paste. Then you change the font size and the italics. So how? It's so insulting. Anyway, so my dear sister, I have it. This is your recent work. I have it here.
Yes, ma'am.
I've done that for the earlier one. This one I'm here to grade. I'm not charged it at all. I'm waiting for the rest of you. See the number of people in the course? And the number that have submitted is not good enough by my standard. More than 90% submission, but I still need a few left so that you don't lose out. I'll use it. That's why. So I've extended it for you to mop up, just in case you haven't done so. Okay, I think that was Madam's question. So let me take Thomas. Oh, don't worry, go ahead. No. Ask me any question. I'm not stopping anything. I'm taking questions. So ask me if you have a question. I am done with what I wanted to tell the class. So go ahead.
Okay, so let's see some assignments and I use the slides. Maybe I get my information from the slides and do the work. And then I still get 100% plagiarism. Is it because I copy from the slide or something? I got my information.
Plagiarism means, listen, plagiarism means you have taken an idea from somewhere, verbatim. You see, verbatim means you took it dito. It's academia, you can't do that. It's music online that people crack and they don't pay for the music. They are just stealing it. It kills ingenuity. You don't allow people to be creative. You take someone's book and photocopy it. How will someone else think again? The photocopy machine, the person doing photocopy, is getting more, remuneration than the one who thought about the thing and created it. Maybe the whole book is 12 CDs or 20 CDs. You go and give it to a photocopy person. They photocopy to save 3,000. You see, I didn't give you any reference.
Yes.
I gave you PDFs, the versions that are already there, and sent it directly because it's not fair. You see, so in academia, plagiarism means you have taken someone's idea. It doesn't mean that you can't learn from someone's idea or take it to. But when you take it, either you reference it, and that cannot be more than a certain number of lines, where you open quote and close it, or you paraphrase what the person said. In paraphrasing, the you, Wilhelmina, will be part of the Miles view. So it's Miles that said it. But Wilhelmina is saying what Miles said. So I will have traces of Wilhelmina in Miles's view. That is a new thing created. It's a synthesis. So you could say, Kwame Jachi's view of philosophy is that when you are philosophizing, then you are conceptually reflecting on concepts to show how they will be useful to our everyday existence. Full stop. I'm saying the same thing that Jachi said. You see that? But this is not a plagiarized content because I'm not quoting him verbatim. And I'm still referencing him. The system will not pick that as plagiarism. Some will come and say, dito, slide, textbook. Even their friends' work. Sometimes you self-plagiarize. If I have an article and I have a few, that's a modest way to speak. I have a few. If I said something in my paper, say individualism, the individual and the individualism communitarianism debate, then I want to say the same thing in my cultural identity paper. I have to quote it or paraphrase. That paper is alien to me now. If I pick dito, I don't say, after all, it's my own thing. No, it's called plagiarism. The system will cite it. I wish I could have done that thing for you to see. I could block the names, but that would be too direct. Then can you see to show you? Sometimes if it's about 3 or 4 people, places you picked from, it will number the whole highlight or make it maybe blue and let it as one. And to take the next one, highlight it as maybe yellow and tell you this is 2. So when you click on the number, it takes you to the place straight. Yeah. So whether it is in slides or and the thing with the slides is if you pick it from the slide, and I see names on my screen, so I'm just using that. And Delius also picks from the slide, and then Elom also picks, and Aaron picks. Maybe you, the first person who picked it, will not be cited for plagiarizing. Okay, but the next person and the third person and the fourth person, because yours has now entered the system, when they come in with their submission, it will be cited. I go and look for all the names that are picked and pull all together. Sometimes I send you a message if I have time. I'll send you a message and tell you, God forbid, just in case it was Wilhelmina, I'll say, Wilhelmina, see Delius, Thomas, and Aaron for shared mark. Then I'll put a smile there. Meanwhile, maybe you are the only person that had a red flag, maybe. But through you, I could check and find out others that copy. Sometimes someone who gave their laptop to someone to use, and the person pulled their submission and said, just hold you on, so the thing becomes a copied work. But that's the thing with plagiarism. So whether it's a slide or it writes the thing down, do you know how that skill comes? When you respond to questions, you learn how to say it your way. When you read and read and read, you understand that. So when you are recounting, you say, oh, Mama say, oh, baya brantem. You see, Mommy says when you are coming, or Mommy says when you go coming, something like that. You don't repeat exactly what Mommy said. Mommy will say, Kofino, when he's coming, when he goes to that party, you should come early. Otherwise, this Mommy will add a lot of encomiums. When you are reporting, you say Kofi. Mommy is concerned about the way you stay little. So try and come early. You see, it's the same thing you are reporting, but in your way. So you have to learn to talk in class, engage, discuss. When there's a group work or you have to talk. Oh, yeah, I should do it. A skill comes. That's all I'm saying. All right. Thank you, Amina. I think you are sorted. I'll take Thomas and then we out. Welcome. Thomas Asari say, please go ahead with your question. Your hand is up. If there are other hands, please raise them. Don't feel pressed. Don't let anything make you. Oh, Thomas, go ahead. Or your answer is your question is answered.
Yes, please.
Your question is answered. Okay, then I want to end here and wish you all well. I think, like I've already said to each class, I enjoyed my times with you. This is a relatively very good class. I've said it in class, generally speaking. You saw it in your eye performance. And I think I'm likely going to have a lot of A's. I even want more. That's why I'm still doing this with you. We will meet next week. We have done it this week and the week before. Thank you, Thomas and Emanuela and all. I see your reactions on the screen. We are going to have a good time. Wake up early on the day of your exam. I don't want stories, doc. Oh, I went for one night when I came. No, don't say those things. Examination in the University of Ghana is a serious thing. Okay. So go for the one night if you want to, but make sure you wake up on time. Get there 30 minutes before the time with your ID, your 2 pens or 3. Go for Bic. Or if there's a new brand that is fine, I don't know, but I trust Bic. The original Bic, not something pretending to be Bic. There's a essentials, okay. And go and do your work. Delius, your hand is up. Something came up, Ask me. Unmute and ask. Then write fine. And then exit. Unmute first. You are muted. Delius, was there an error? Okay, then I end. Your hand is up again. So you should unmute your microphone and ask if it's a question. I see your hand up again. Yeah. Delius, you are muted. Oh. I suspect there is an error. Okay. So then you go early, you write, distribute your time well, go through all the questions and pick the one that you feel you are well comfortable with, and you can answer it well and give illustrations, stuff like that, and go get it, read over your work nicely, submit it, work out, no malpractices, nothing. My exams are always marked with a sign of diligence. The students are good. I get that a lot from chiefs when I go there. They say they don't really have time to ask anybody anything. I just working, and then they are impressed. Don't go and mind. Chikata, Rosalind, your hand is up. Please, your hand is up. Chikata, you were talking when you came online. The whole family's conversation was online. I heard it. That's why I disabled your mic. Okay, I've allowed your mic for a minute. For a minute.
Oh, yeah, hello.
Go ahead now.
Good morning, Dr. Miles. So we that we've submitted our assignments, right?
Please talk for yourself.
Can't you?
Talk
Yeah,
for
can't you?
yourself,
Okay, me. Yeah, I have submitted my assignments well, and I feel like I could have done it better.
No, I'm not giving opportunity for doing it better. The late submissions attract a -3 already. I just don't tell you. If you want to do a minus where your work is already being marked over 7, because if you submit late, you have undue advantage that others don't have. You understand? Someone felt pressed for time, so just submitted her work wherever she has reached. If you extend, it's not fair to them. But others too, it wasn't intentional. They were just not able to. So you give them the opportunity to at least save some marks. If they even get 5 there, they can use it to sort their how far. Okay. So it's not an opportunity to open for everybody again, whether for this course or any course I teach. It's just so that we are able to help others. Okay. All right. So all the best to you all. Rosalind, why are you afraid that you were the one who plagiarized? Or it's not you, You dear. Chai, you won't plagiarize that. Is that it? All right. Thank you all. Thank you for your time together. And I will be on side, Gabriel. You, Emmanuel, I laughing at the lady. We'll be in touch. I'll prefer emails to WhatsApp messages, unless it's very urgent. The reason is simple, so that when I read it and I haven't attended to it, I can always go back to. If it's a WhatsApp message, I will even remember what you asked me to do or help you with, because it has been read. I don't see it as unread again. See that? If it's an email, when I go to my emails, I deal with all of them. I'm always able to trace one after the other. As for WhatsApp message, I have thousands of students, so you can imagine where your WhatsApp message will go to if you send it there. Okay, unless it's urgent, you can put it in the email. Excuse me, now address it. Thank you all. Have a wonderful, wonderful semester. I wish you all the best and take care. Bye for now.
Thank you, madam. God bless you.
Amen. Thank you, Ellen. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.